The Frierdiker Rebbe in his letters, on in the sixth volume, on page 60, Chelik Zayin Amud Samach. So he relates a story that, about his father, where a used to be wealthy person that lost everything. He was very wealthy, and he was left with nothing. He came crying to the Rebbe Rashab. He was bawling, D'moy shlish, that he lost all his money and he's left with nothing. And he can't go on like this. So the Rebbe Rashab responded with a Gemara. Chazal tell us on Masechta Shabbos, Kuf Nun Aleph Amud Beis, that wealth is like a galgal hachayzer. Wealth is like a ball that goes around. Those that are on the top will eventually come to the bottom. Those that are at the bottom will ultimately make it back up. So what the Rebbe Rashab was telling him, the fact that you're now on the bottom is a sign that eventually you'll come back to the top. And the fact that you're crying is he says it's pesihu. It's, I don't know if this is what he said to him, but this is what the Rebbe is writing, is that it's a stupidity, because eventually you'll go back up. Elsewhere, the Frierdiker Rebbe added one little point to this, and he said, or he described it, that there's two types of shaitim. There's two types of people that are shaitim. One is like the Frierdiker Rebbe wrote in the previous letter, a person that's poor and he has no hope, because eventually everyone will make it back up. And then the other shaita is the one that's extremely wealthy and he's confident that he's going to be like this forever. So the Frierdiker Rebbe says that he's the second shaita, because eventually the Ferris wheel is going to come around and he's the guy that's on the top is going to come on the bottom. That's in a Sicha, Simchas Torah, Verbringen of Tafresh Tzadik Vav, Ois Yud Gimel, 1936. Now, describing the fact that money is not something that is lasts forever, shall we say. So there's a very interesting medrash. I couldn't really dig up the medrash itself, but I saw it quoted in the Maharal in his Sefer Nesiv HaZoylem, in the section of Nesiv HaOisher, where he discusses wealth and finances. So in Perek Beis, he quotes a very interesting medrash. The medrash says that in Hebrew, or possibly Aramaic, one of the words that are the two words that are used to describe money generally are mois and mamon. So the medrash explains what's the word actually mean. And we know that a name describes the thing itself. It gives the definition of the item. It's not just a cute name. In Torah, a name is the description. It describes what it's named for. So the medrash says that mois, it's mem ayin vav sof. So mois is ma ace, what time? Which the medrash explains is that what's it worth? It's only ace. It's only temporary. It's not timidi. It's not davar timidi. So ma'ace, what is it worth? It's only ace, it's only temporary. So therefore it's called mois. The other word, mamoin, he says a similar concept. He says that mamoin, ma-moin, what are you counting? Doesn't have an intrinsic value because it's not going to last forever. If you have I guess you have a person, so the person has an intrinsic value. He is who he is. He can get better or worse, but bets him he's worth something. The money, I guess, it's not going to last forever. You hope that at least you have yourself for as long as you're alive. But money is destined to just stop. So what's it worth? It's only ace temporary. Ma moina, what are you counting? So this is the medrash that the Maharal quotes. Now I'm going to get a little political. I'm going to quote you two sources which changed my perspective politically, at least until I hear a better argument. But generally, there's a concept that I hear a little bit in politics about income redistribution. There's not enough money for everyone, so we gotta redistribute it. So is that a Torah concept or not? I mean, many Republicans on the right will argue, just work and you'll make money. There's enough money for everyone. You just got to work a little harder. Others say no. Now there's less jobs. We got to redistribute the wealth. So I'm not going to give a verdict over here, but I'll just quote you what the Maharal says about this. I wasn't aware of this concept, at least the way he brings it out. The Maharal says in that Perek Beis of Nesiva Yeshua that money is very different than other forms of things that you can acquire. Let's say, for example, the concept of wisdom. So he says Chokhmah, so there's enough to go around. In other words, it's not to say that if I understand something, I have it and you can't have it. I could share it with you and then we both have it. And we could share it with another 100 people and we all have it. And the fact that we have it doesn't mean another 1,000 people can't get it. It's something that can be, it's an endless pie. And that can be brought out in many ways, but it's not something where if person A has it, person B can't get it, person B can also acquire Chokhmah. Money, on the other hand, the Maharal says, because I don't. The Maharal describes things in a very chakira dike oisia. So in other words, it's not necessarily, he doesn't fully explain the concept. You have to really dig a little deeper. But what he says is that money is not a form of accusation, not a form, it's not something which you really acquire. It's in its own category. Normally when you acquire something, you have it. Money is like, it's separate. It's not really a regular form of accusation. I don't know if that's a word. It's not something which you acquire in the way you normally acquire something, because it's something which Hashem takes away from one person and passes on to someone else. So what he says is that there's X amount of money in the world, and if person A takes it, person B can't have that. So let's say there's $100 trillion in the world. I don't know, making up a number. So that's the amount of money Hashem set up that there's going to be in the world, and more than that, there's not. So if one person has 90% of that, we can't just say that go work and make more money because he has that, and Hashem says there's going to be only X amount of money in the world, and what one person takes is taking away from someone else. That's what the Maharal points out over there. And the other slightly political point is a Chafetz Chaim, but we'll get to that in the next video, where the Chafetz Chaim tells us that certain people, why a poor person is poor and why a rich person is rich, and how we can't necessarily change that.